Hey, SMB Nation, Harry here back with Jeff Connolly. We're both coming to you from Austin, Texas, just separate locations. Good morning. How you doing, Jeff?
Great, Harry. Good to see you, man. You're looking quite dapper for our summer heat here. You're
I'm
dressed
trying.
appropriate.
Yeah, this is a thin fabric shirt, so that helps. Let me tell you, the heat has arrived. Hey, I wanted to let you know that I set a goal at the beginning of the year to land bill one billable hour to private equity or VCs as a principal analyst. I'm trying to, as we should all do, recreate myself, or I like to say expand what I'm capable of doing. And I met that goal in July for a mid-sized private equity firm, and I'm performing the technology due diligence for an acquisition of an MSP. And you and I have kind of talked about this before, but give us some context on where we're at, the modern MSP, why they need to be acquired. What are you seeing out there? Because it is a frenzy right now in acquisitions.
Yeah. There's apparently just a whole lot of money recognizing our industry, and I feel like it is my industry, your industry.
Yeah.
We're the father of so much of this, Harry, and building the tribe, and it's growing up. And so I think there's a lot of ready to sell owners that are hitting a stage in their life where they're ready to move on to something else. And frankly, I think that the maturity of the industry is calling for this. Back when we were a group of independents working break fix and barely getting into MSP, there wasn't something there for consolidation. Now there is. There's a lot of clarity about just the fundamental infrastructure, what it takes to be good at that. We've been learning over the last few years what it takes to be good in security,
Yep.
what it takes to be really good in those industries that have got some fairly rigorous regulations to pay attention to. And so now our industry is real, and we're going to see more of this. I think the private equity guys and ultimately venture capital people, when we get into a bit of a larger space, we're going to see a lot more activity, which will bring out even more rigor, I think more resources, and more consistency for the end user. And I'm still thinking very much about the end market being the small and medium business segment.
Yeah.
This morning I was reading one brief thing before I turn it back to you, but
Yeah.
how small businesses are innovating perhaps more than larger businesses are today, because they've had to. We small business owners have had to pivot more quickly, and we've seen those that can are still with us. Many in the retail food space that couldn't pivot are not here. And so the lessons are pretty clear in small business. The reality's harsh if you aren't embracing. And frankly, they've been hearing the message for years and years and years. And when it came time to send employees home to work securely from home, many small businesses, in fact, I'll say most small businesses, weren't really ready, although they knew what they needed to do. This last year and a half has really shown us what the
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
support that the better MSPs are able to produce. So, yeah.
Yeah. Couple of takes. One is I'll start out as a curmudgeon, then I'll end up as a modernist. On the curmudgeon side, uh, and it goes back to the early SBS era. We really liked doing the work and getting our hands, up on the server in the server room, or more likely the closet. And that's still the case with a lot of my audience at SMB Nation. They don't get super excited. I've had this talk with you, but this idea of getting a little commission or a rev share, or this or that, that's not what they were built for. They were built for doing the actual work, and they like being small. So that's the curmudgeon side. Now the modern side is, unfortunately, I think there's going to be a flight to quality, and the way that looks is these MSPs are going to, there'll be roll-ups of little MSPs that are open and receptive to that. And you get the scalability, you get the cool tools, you can use the automation. And so that's, to your point, that's the reality. And, we're going to lose some people along the way. They're either not excited about it. I've learned a lot about myself, in this last couple of years, and that's in part how I started the conversation. Maybe we'll end on that. Is that I learned a little bit about myself, and the way I built SMB Nation, and we rode it hard with SBS, and then we've been evolving and all that. It became very clear professionally, I need to expand my horizons, right? And start doing new things. I'm not stopping what we're doing by any stretch, but we got to do new things. And it's a look in the mirror, Jeff. It's a look in the mirror to say, okay, I'm going to make real change. Go ahead.
You used the phrase when you were describing your engagement with the private equity group. You used the word knowledge worker. And I think that's been a confusion many people within our space have had for a long time. They think about the doing. I need to get out and do something when it was all break fix, or I need to remediate something now that we're remote, or I need to make sure that the monitoring is covering all devices within the entity that I'm providing support to. And they think of the doing, and I think our industry has done this, myself included, for too long. And it really, what people pay for is our knowledge, knowing what to do. The doing of it is sort of secondary. Build the plan, have a plan, and then execute on the plan. But the owners of our businesses in our space really need to embrace the idea it's about their knowledge, knowing who the right providers are to use as partners when they're delivering their service, and understanding how to explain that to a client, not just roll up your sleeves, something broke, I'll jump in, fix it, and charge you to remediate. It's about that long-term knowledge. And I think that's what's sustainable about what it is you walk, you're not walking away from the industry, neither of us, but what you have, what you've gained along the way is what's really important. Understanding the space, understanding the options, understanding the risks to the client. How do we protect them from those risks? So
there we go. Make that the final word. Let's get together and go bicycling down here in the Texas Hill Country soon, and we'll talk to you next quarter.
So I just want to wait till it's 110 degrees, Harry. I'll be with you in about 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Keep it safe. Thanks, Jeff.
You bet. See you.